Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to inform this February session about Fiji's national ocean policy, excuse me, or what we call our NOP, a guiding blueprint designed to holistically protect and govern all of Fiji's ocean and marine resources. As an archipelagic nation, our ocean defines us, and not just our borders. For thousands of years, the ocean has provided sustenance and fueled the livelihoods of our people, and in doing so, helped our economy thrive. Today, we are able to put a number on that immense impact. Studies indicate that in 2014, Fiji's marine ecosystem services would have been valued at approximately Fijian $2.4 billion. Anecdotal evidence would suggest that had the world's economy not been crippled by COVID-19, these numbers would have been much higher still in 2020. But as we know it, Mr. Speaker, sir, to continue to tap into this bounty that nature provides us, our ocean must not be raided and pillaged for the economic benefit of a single generation. Above all else, we must ensure that any and all investments in the ocean space are sustainable. Ocean-based development needs to not only be aligned to our national development aspirations, but also operate within our international climate commitments and promote the protection and restoration of marine resources in a way that will boost the regenerative capacity of our 1.3 million square kilometers of exclusive economic zone. Mr. Speaker, sir, Fiji's ocean is intrinsically linked to our identity as a small island developing state. But we can't let that name fool us. When it comes to our ocean space under which we have a complete jurisdiction, nothing is small about Fiji. Our EEZ is 70% larger than our landmass. And when it comes to size of EEZ, Fiji has the 26th most expensive patch of planet under our protection. With these statistics in mind, Mr. Speaker, sir, we must see our true potential as a big ocean state, one with significant potential for a very big, very vibrant, and very blue economy. Despite the massive socioeconomic prosperities being held in the depths of our ocean, our marine biosphere is under constant threat due to global warming, a global emergency that, as vulnerable people on its front lines know too well, is resulting in rising sea levels, ocean acidification, and mass coral bleaching. Unregulated mining activities, land development, and pollution are major threats as well. Fiji's ocean has also been subject to transborder crime, overfishing, illegal, unreported, and unregulated fisheries, and many other forms of mismanagement, contributing to the decline in marine and increase in border security threats. Mr. Speaker, says such threats underscore the diverse spectrum of complex ocean issues that our development agenda must address if we are to create a sustainable, inclusive, resilient, and low-carbon future for all Fijians. That's why, Mr. Speaker, sir, the Fijian government has not been resting on its laurels and is taking decisive action to these pressing threats to our ocean. Back in 2017, Fiji recognized the importance of mainstreaming oceans into global discussions on climate change and launched the Ocean Pathway Partnership during the first ever United Nations Ocean Conference in New York. This was reinforced by Fiji's COP23 presidency of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change in 2017 and showed the world that we were pioneers when it comes to protecting our ocean. Fiji went on to re-emphasize the need to strengthen the nexus between oceans and climate during COP25 in Madrid, where our climate negotiators successfully garnered international support to include oceans as part of the UNFCCC agenda. But here at home, we recognize the obstacles to effective and congruent oceans management. Historically, Fiji's marine sector has long operated in policy silos. Multiple government agencies are mandated to administer and regulate piecemeal segment of Fiji's marine ecosystem through numerous plans, policies, and strategies. There has been no overarching national policy that provides a singular coordination point to effectively plan, allocate, and manage resources for the broader sustainable management of Fiji's ocean space. The need for an overarching domestic policy that holistically guides ocean action and is well aligned to Fiji's international climate commitments made it clear that we needed to develop a national policy as our blueprint. So following in-depth discussions with relevant government agencies, the Ministry of Economy commenced the comprehensive drafting process of the National Ocean Policy, or NOP, in 2019. Mr. Speaker, sir, the formulation of the NOP took over a year to complete, as it took many rounds of inclusive, comprehensive consultations between and among government and non-government stakeholders. 11 rounds of stakeholder consultations, comprising of 3 open public consultations. These took place from October 2019 to November 2020. To ensure that our eventual policy would complement, not compete with existing policies and legislation, the overall development of the NOP was guided by a steering committee consisting of key government agencies selected from the following existing marine affairs committees. First, the Protected Areas Committee through the National Environment Council of the Ministry of Environment, the Maritime Affairs Coordinating Committee of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Marine Protected Areas Technical Committee of the Ministry of Fisheries, and the Marine Spill Pollution Advisory Committee of the Ministry of Commerce, Trade, Tourism and Transport. Mr. Speaker, sir, while many minds and voices went into the policy's formulation, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank and remember one in particular, the late Lieutenant Commander Silipa Tangidaki Kumumbola, who passed away earlier this month as the highest-ranking female officer in the Fijian Navy. Her input towards the formulation of the NOP was invaluable, and I'm sure she would have been delighted to operationalize it. Lieutenant Commander Kumumbola will be sorely missed in this process. Mr. Speaker, sir, having elaborated the development of the NOP, Mr. Speaker, sir, please let me allow to highlight the key features of the NOP. The vision and mission of NOP are respectively to achieve a healthy ocean that sustains the livelihoods and aspirations of Fiji's current and future generations, and to secure and sustainably manage Fiji's ocean and its marine resources. Mr. Speaker, sir, the NOP will achieve its vision and mission through 7 strategic goals. These are: 1, cooperation, to harmonize and promote an integrated and cooperative national approach to managing the ocean in a manner that promotes security, strives for sustainability, and ensures prosperity for all Fijians. 2, sustainability, to protect, restore, and improve ocean ecosystems, climate services, and biodiversity, so these benefits contribute towards a fair and equitable participation and sharing of benefits for current and future generations through the sustainable management of 100% of Fiji's ocean within the national jurisdiction. 3, security, to safeguard assets and ensure regulatory compliance for the multidimensional maritime security of 100% of Fiji's ocean within its national jurisdiction. 4, people, to promote a people-centered approach to ocean management by sharing benefits in an equitable and inclusive manner that respects all rights. 5, development, to establish a solid foundation for sustainable development that includes facilitating ocean-based opportunities and innovations to ensure healthy ecosystems and secure economic livelihoods. 6, knowledge, to integrate traditional knowledge, heritage, and cultural practices with scientific knowledge to provide a holistic platform that can meet the contemporary challenges of the ocean. 7, advocacy, recognizing both the connectivity of oceans, the need for ambitious management of the ocean, and deepened understanding of the ocean-climate nexus. NOP lays out how Fiji can engage in regional and global advocacy that aligns with and fortifies ongoing 7 endeavors. There are the 7 key issues, Mr. Speaker, sir. Each of these goals has an interdependent set of activities and a 10-year implementation plan, which identifies coordinating agencies that will effectively carry out these activities through their respective mandates. The implementation plan is the operational backbone of NOP and will be the proxy for multiple government agencies to coherently implement sustainable ocean actions through 33 outcomes and 86 indicators allocated across key implementation government agencies. Given that 20% of the Fijian population lives within 1 kilometer of the coastline, and 76% within 5 kilometers, NOP recognizes the intrinsic connection Fijians have with the marine biosphere. In doing so, it places consistent community engagement and collaboration at the heart of its implementation plan. This is exemplified by the establishment of the annual Talanoa Dialogue on Oceans, which will be a forum to discuss matters of importance in the ocean sector and provide accountability to the public on progress to operationalize NOP. Mr. Speaker, so the two flagship outcomes of NOP are to declare 30% of Fiji's exclusive economic zone as marine protected areas, with 100% sustainable management of our EEZ by 2030. These targets are consistent with Fiji's global commitment, such as SDG 14, Life Below Water, and the 30 by 30 initiative led by the government of the United Kingdom. Mr. Speaker, sir, NOP has a governance structure. In recognizing the complexities of our ocean sector and underscoring the importance of a whole-of-government approach to achieve Fiji's blue economy ambitions, NOP creates a robust governance and institutional arrangement that brings together existing national committees working across its 7 strategic goals. NOP will be overseen by the National Ocean Policy Steering Committee made up of 14 permanent secretaries. The steering committee will also include senior technical representatives of selected agencies, including non-government organizations from the private sector, academia, and civil society as needed with an observer status. Existing national committees that address marine-related activities will be requested to deliver specific outputs and updates to the steering committee in order to facilitate the delivery of the activities set out in the 10-year implementation plan. The implementation plan will be monitored and evaluated through an annual progress report and a 5-year review report to be developed by the Ministry of Economy on behalf of the steering committee in its capacity as the steering committee secretariat and custodian of NOP. Mr. Speaker, sir, Fiji's NOP will be enshrined into law also through the upcoming climate change bill, as we merge the ocean-climate nexus and create an enabling environment to boost ocean health and curb the growing impact of climate change on our fragile marine biosphere. In particular, Part 13 of the upcoming climate change bill, Mr. Speaker, sir, Oceans and Climate, emphasizes the need to protect Fiji's existing maritime boundaries and marine resources, including blue carbon stocks such as mangroves and seagrass meadows. This section creates the legal mandate for Fiji to designate 30% of its EEZ as MPAs, or marine protected areas, by 2030 and achieve 100% sustainable management of our EEZ, as we have mentioned earlier on. Mr. Speaker, sir, the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic and the economic standstill that has followed in its wake makes the need for sustainable economic management even more clear. Fiji's ocean health simply cannot be compromised. For the preservation of our economy, our livelihoods, and our culture and heritage, we must protect its vitality and the bounty it provides. Mr. Speaker, sir, as we look ahead in the 2021 Kickstarting UN Decade for Ocean Science, Fiji's new national initiatives, such as the ban of single-use plastic bags, our 10-year moratorium on seabed mining, and the recent ban on polystyrene or styrofoam, are more significant steps in the right direction to achieving a blue recovery. In this respect also, Mr. Speaker, sir, we are currently talking to the UK government in furthering talks regarding issuance of blue bonds. I'd like to just hold up this particular oceans policy. It will be available on the website. I urge all members of Parliament to please go and read this. You can have an input. As you know, that we'll be having widespread consultations, which is highlighted on a yearly basis. And this is an effort that requires a national approach to preserve this much valuable asset of ours. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.